All right, so on Talk Time this wonderful Saturday morning, we are talking security. Yes, the biggest talk in town right now is the release of the abducted Orire children, which happened yesterday. So the good news started filtering in yesterday evening when it was released that, of course, the presidency, through the media, actually issued a statement to say the abducted children from Orire local government area for your state have been released. Now, just to do a little bit of background, on the 15th of May, that was when this happened. A group of men entered into the communities and they attacked about 3 schools, abducting about 39 students and 6 teachers. Well, that saga has been on, and for quite a while, it looked as if there was no hope in sight, only for us to get the good news yesterday. Well, for those who have some intelligence, they did say that Mr. President met with the security chiefs, that's the day before, and 24 hours later, we heard of the good news. And this morning, we're going to be looking at the aftermath of that Orire Kidnapping and Rescue, reflections on Nigeria's insecurity crisis, and the way forward. Let me bring in my guest, who is no stranger to the microphone. Of course, my guest is one who has, walked down this road severally, armed with nothing other than the vision and the zeal to succeed. He's a security consultant and analyst as well. I can tell you, Chuks Maha, not just an analyst, he is also a risk assessment community security strategist and also response planning. And he'll be helping us break all of this down. Dr. Chuks Maha is joining me in the studio this morning. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you very much, Victor.
All right. This must be a kind of relief hearing of this good news for you, Dr. Chuks Maha.
Yes, it's a good relief. I wasn't taken by any surprise, actually. It's something that the security agencies are very capable of doing. But my problem here is why now? Why not much earlier than this?
All right. So why not earlier? This is 56 days after the abductions. Don't you think this is much earlier? I mean, we've had series of kidnappings in this country. Some has never been resolved over 10, 12 years. We've seen some probably after 3 or 4 months later. But this is 56 days, Chuks Maha.
Yes. First and foremost, the bane of any government anywhere in the world is the provision of security for a citizenry. First and foremost. That is the first and functional business of government.
Right.
Now, once we start from that angle and begin to look at it from there, you will agree with me that 56 days is nothing.
All right.
Now, let's go further. Because the issue of insecurity, as we are looking at it now here in Nigeria, vis-a-vis abduction and kidnap, which is the major focus.
Right.
It started like a joke.
Yes, it did.
Over time.
It did.
For the benefit of our listeners out there, when this started initially, it was expatriates they were hovering over.
Way back in the days.
Yes, way back. We were the golden goose then.
That's right. And we're talking about in the years of 2006, 2007, 2008.
Oh, Victor, your memory serves you fine. Yes. When that was going on, we felt, after all, consign me now, you boy consign.
All right.
They can afford it. The business started, and of course, when this kind of thing starts, this menace, it grows up into becoming a monster. And when it becomes a monster, it becomes an ugly monster and becomes very difficult to tame,
right,
yet alone kill it. Now, I want to let our audience know out there that kidnap business is a business which you have little or nothing to put into by way of investment, and the returns on investment are so high. In other words, the reward for this crime is so high. So it makes it lucrative.
Right. So can we really call it a business?
Yes, it is. The ease in which this is done, the business itself, and why it thrives. We're going to look at these things in the course of the program,
right,
so people can understand. The ease, anybody can pick up anybody and begin to negotiate. That's the ease with it. Then the business, you're going to make a demand, which is known as a ransom.
Okay.
And of course, in Nigeria, we panic a lot. Nobody wants to die. Life is good.
Definitely.
So there's a high probability of this payment going to be made. Now, because of greed, now we are hearing this money is being called not even in 1 million, not in tens, but in hundreds now. Then you begin to negotiate downwards if you're lucky. And last but not least is the thriving. Why is it thriving? Because these hoodlums, these criminals, these, I don't know what name to call them,
right,
they seem to be getting away with it all the time. And that's why it's thriving. So we need to peg that thing to make sure it doesn't longer thrive, it's no longer lucrative, and from there we'll be able to nip it on the board.
Now, let's look at what has just happened now. So 56 days down the line, the presidency issues a statement to say they have been released, although we've not really been able to get a full hang of how it happens. It looks as if it was an operation that was carried out, Dr. Chuks Maha.
Yes, it was an operation, but you don't need to know the nitty-gritty. In security, you don't expose the whole details, because as you do so, the hoodlums themselves would now get a better way on how to curb to ensure they are no longer caught.
Right.
So we keep the operation modalities still top secret. However, we must.
So is it deliberate that you do that?
Yes,
really?
It's deliberate. It's deliberate. You can't expose your strategies out. If you do, you don't have strategies any longer.
Okay, so now let's compare this kidnapping to some others that have happened earlier this year, and of course even sometime last year. We heard of the kidnappings of students in a particular school in Niger, where over 300 of them were also picked up. But the manner in which they were released, also brought a whole lot of people asking questions. I mean, if you say kidnappings were done today in like 3-4 days, about 50 of them were reported to have escaped, right? I'm looking at the numbers.
Yes.
They rhymed up to an even number. 50 of them escaped. And then maybe about a week or two later, another 150 or so of them were also reported to have been released. So the question was that an operation? Was it a kind of settlement? Was there an agreement with the kidnappers, or how did it go?
Well, you need to understand the psyche of kidnappers. First and foremost, why abduct? Because you cannot have a kidnap situation without abduction. Abduction is where you take somebody from his natural habitat into an unknown or a different place of abode, behind or rather against his wish, desire, or will. That is abduction. Then the issue of kidnap is when you make demands for the release of this abducted person. It could be financial, it could be political, it could be anything.
Right.
Just like what happened in Oyo when they were saying, release one of our masterminds or whatever it is. So that is not financial. That is termed political.
Okay.
Now, when you begin to look at all these cases, now put them together, you cannot put all together in one basket. You need to look at them, each case
in isolation?
In isolation, based on merits.
Okay.
Now, there are some kidnapping which could be done personal basis, business-wise. Some kidnappings could be political. However, I want to state here categorically clear that Mr. President, he has started. He must not stop. It should not be a political bargaining chip because of 2027. He's the commander-in-chief.
Right.
He's the father of all Nigerians and others who dwell in Nigeria. It's his duty, his responsibility to oversee and ensure every citizenry, irrespective of race, color, religion, who dwells in Nigeria is safe.
Right. So at the moment, what we hear is that at least all the children have been released, right?
Well, so they say.
Plus the teachers.
Yes.
And like I said, we are not too sure if there was an operation that was carried out.
Well, I saw the video clip.
What we see now is, what we heard is that about 8 of the kidnappers have also been picked up as well.
Yes, and others neutralized. When you use the word neutralized, you know what I mean. They've gone to join their ancestors.
Right.
Yeah, which to me is good news.
Okay, that's the term you guys use in security, right?
Yeah, sure.
Where the people are neutralized.
Yeah, neutralized.
Okay.
So that's the good news. Now, let's look at it from this aspect now. I saw the jubilations which took place in Ogbomosho as they were returning back.
Right.
With the victims, the released victims. The jubilation was so much. You could see Nigerians
in unity.
In unity. If an election was taking place there and then, between the military, the DSS, and the police, they would have won elections.
Definitely.
Yes, because these are what the people are looking for. We want to ensure the territory in which we all live in is safe. Let me tell you one thing, Victor, and for our audience. If your environment is not safe and secure, your business cannot thrive. And if your business cannot thrive, you can't have a worthwhile living. Of what use is your money, your house, and whatever you have if you're not safe?
Right.
So coming down to it, there's a lot that takes place here I need to let us know. The 4 elements of government have failed. 4 elements.
Okay.
The executive, the judiciary, the legislature, and we, the citizenry, we have all failed.
So all these 4
combined, including us, all combined have failed.
Why do you say that?
Yes, I'll tell you why. Everybody has a role to play. Everybody. Let me start with the list, with the citizenry. Hoodlums, these bandits are no spirits. They live with amongst us. And even if they don't dwell in your adubo, as we want to say here in southwestern Nigeria, they have come in from somewhere, and they've come in either in numbers, in their tens or hundreds, and they've moved into your locality.
Right.
They just didn't smoking like that. People saw them coming in. And if you did not in any way mention that, look, you've seen some strange elements lurking around your neighborhood or have moved in and their activities are unknown to you, you don't understand them, why have you not spoken
Yeah,
out?
but let me also put it to you, Dr. Chuks Maha, that in some communities where we had these abductions or heightened levels of terrorism take place, we've seen people that have seen this kind of situations and they've reported and nothing really happened.
Yeah,
the case in question is what happened in Kogi and Kwara before now, where some communities, they even saw letters that were written to them by the terrorists, the so-called terrorists. And then they actually said, okay, let's approach the local government to report the issue. And they said nothing happened.
Yeah, I'm going to come to that. That's why I said the 4 tiers have failed. Now, it first takes off. It's been initiated by us, the citizenry. He who wears his shoes knows where it pinches.
Right.
If my environment where I stay is not safe, I have 2 choices. Either I try to make it safe or I move out. And I need to let us know that the amended Constitution, 1999 Constitution, provides for the citizenry the right to protect him or herself using any means that is lawful. You have the right to protect yourself.
As a citizenry?
As a citizen, yes.
Ah.
Yeah, oh yes.
Do I have a right to carry a gun?
Well, that's a different case entirely. I use the word lawful.
Okay. Okay.
If you have a licensed gun, yes. But don't forget, as a citizen, your gun that you have a license for, it's not for killing. It's either for hunting or for gaming.
Okay.
But you could use it to defend yourself.
If I'm under attack?
If your life is being threatened. Yes, lawfully.
Okay.
Lawfully. So you need to go and read the law.
All right.
Get a lawyer to advise you. Now, but the issue here is that you can come out together within your community. Either agree to have a vigilante, but make sure it is registered. Make sure it is registered, 1. And 2, it's actually taken up and you show yourself to the DPO where you live, the divisional police officer that has the jurisdiction of where you live. So he's aware of your activities. He knows the kind of arms you carry, whether they are machetes, whistles, cutlasses, or ding guns, or dough barrels, as the case may be. Are you getting the point I'm saying? He needs to know those who are going to carry them to ensure they are licensed. And if you do, there must be some kind of checks on you, because you cannot just take law into your hands, because they will read to you the do's and the don'ts.
All right.
On it. But that's not either here.
So for what you see, are the guns, the ammunition that we have, do you think they're fully licensed? And do you think they're properly monitored by those who should monitor them?
That is a different kettle of fish entirely, because we have problems here within the country. Most of the arms proliferation in the country are not being tracked. 1. 2, those who are found with it, what is happening? What's done? So we need to find a way to encourage the citizenry to come to volunteer themselves, to come and say, oh, I have this arm or this arm. But first and foremost, there must be a saying, and this is where the National Orientation Agency comes into play. There are certain arms that are prohibited for citizens. You cannot carry an assault rifle, no matter who you are, except you are in the military or the paramilitary. And of course, that assault rifle will then be issued to you in your official capacity.
Right.
The moment you cease to be in that agency, that arm will be returned back. Of course, it's collected.
So, as a citizen, I cannot carry an assault rifle?
No, you cannot. You have no right. The law doesn't provide for that. All you can carry is, at best, a semi-automatic. And of course, the guns are being classified. And in Nigeria here today, we talk about single barrels, double barrels, or shotguns at the most. You can't even carry a sidearm, so pistol. No way. But the president can issue a license if you can show sufficient proof that, 1, you are a man of means, you are a man who will never be tempted to go into any criminal activities, and your life is constantly under threat. He can then issue a license to carry sidearms.
Okay.
But it's a very rare thing.
All right.
Very rare.
But those are very rare issues, really.
But the other one of carrying a gun, a shotgun, a single barrel, double barrel, pump action, yes, you can get.
Right.
And that's from the Inspector General of Police through the Commissioners of Police.
All right. Now, these are information that lots of people might not be privy to, and thank God that you are talking about that. But returning to the bigger issue of the kidnapping and why it is thriving, now that the Orire children have been released, Nigerians are waking up to that news. We are all rejoicing that this is a good episode that has ended well. what's the next thing? Because I know on that same day when those Orire children were abducted, we also had the issue of Borno. There's a community in Borno State as well where some 42 students were also kidnapped. That is yet to be resolved. Also within that month, we also had some other kidnappings within the northeastern part of Nigeria. So what should we be doing at this time as a country?
Yeah, first and foremost, the legislature should come up and we now have to have some more. I know we have laws. We're talking of stringent laws that will make this a no-go area. Like when we talk of armed robbery. I think for now, the legislature should come up and say, you know what? Let's don't put too much pressure on the judiciary. We are going to set up kidnap tribunals. Like we used to have before in the past, armed robbery tribunals. So it is sharp. It's like a tax force. You go down there, you're pronounced guilty, instant judgment. So you're not going to waste taxpayers' money by putting them, locking them up in prison and be feeding them. No. Once you have been confirmed to be that, there's no need for a lawyer. We have caught you in the act.
A kidnap tribunal.
Yeah, kidnap.
How's that going to work?
Oh, it's going to work very, very well. By the time we have these kidnap tribunals in every state, you're caught, you're sent down to the tribunal, bam, and that's it.
Right.
The report is given, the tribunal knows what to do. Just like the armed robbery tribunal we used to have before.
Okay.
It work, it's speed, straightforward, doesn't waste taxpayers' money, and of course, whether you want to use the word, they are neutralized.
Right.
And that's it.
So let's talk about it now. Why do you think kidnapping is thriving?
Yeah, like I said.
Because now, like you said earlier on, it's now become a business.
It's a business.
The other day, we saw someone who actually organized, he and his two other brothers, somewhere in Edo State, they organized to kidnap somebody. And by the time ransom was paid, the police was called in. They were able to trace them into the forest and they were arrested. So now, why is it that this kidnapping, especially the ransom thing, is now thriving?
Like I said earlier, Nigerians, we do not like to suffer. Nigerians will put pressure on you if your wife, son, husband, child was being kidnapped. They'll say, but with all the whole money where you get, pay now. He said, no, I'm waiting for the police. He said, no, what police are you waiting for? Pay. Because the police will never advise you to pay. Even if they sympathize with you.
Okay.
Because the act of which Nigeria has participated in, which is a signatory to this terrorism, we do not encourage terrorism of any form, of which kidnap falls under that. So we do not.
Okay.
Now, but however, because the person is your loved one,
right,
and you want your person out on time, you will say you are ready to pay. The police will not tell you that you shouldn't pay, but they will not advise you to pay. So the question now is, how do you make the payment? So to me, concerning all these kidnap cases we talk about, who are the negotiators? And for you to be a negotiator, you know what that means.
Right.
You must know the person whom you're negotiating for.
Okay. So there's a kind of ring where all of this takes place.
Yes, it's traceable. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to accept it or not, it's traceable. For you to become a negotiator on behalf of kidnappers, it means you know them. And of course, when you negotiate, you can't tell me you're not benefiting.
Right.
You may not be benefiting financially. You could have some other benefits other than cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Now, so to this end, I need to let us know, first and foremost, how do you ensure you do not become a victim?
Yeah.
That is the first thing.
We'll talk about that even as the program was up, because these are tips that will help a lot of Lagosians and Nigerians who are listening to us right now. But from the consultant's point of view, what does the Orire local government abductions tell us about current gaps in rural security?
It's not just there in that part of the country. It's everywhere. Even here in Lagos. Even here in your studio.
No way. My studio is security tight.
What did I say? For what I've seen, if I give an assessment, Victor, you come to work tomorrow.
Okay, go ahead. So it's everywhere.
Everywhere. There's no place that is safe in Nigeria. So we need to start from the nitty-gritty. First and foremost, if you ask me, the Minister for Education, both Minister of State and the Minister on top, should look in, call all the technocrats there, and infuse into the educational system curricula security consciousness as a subject, starting from nursery school, primary, secondary, and of course tertiary institutions. Why do I say this?
Tell me.
If Nigerians become security conscious, the tendency of you becoming a victim will be minimized. I didn't say impossible.
Right.
It's minimized because you are aware of your environment. Observation, note taking. In Nigeria today, everybody says we are highly religious. It's not my portion. Whose portion is it? That's number one, from the religious angle. From the other angle again, they say, no, why me? They don't go take me. They don't look for black-skinned people. Oh, they don't look for Yorubas. They're not looking for Igbos. They're not looking for Hausas. Who tells you? Anybody can be a target. When it started initially, we were laughing. Our Muslim brothers in the north thought it was a creed. They were just going after Christians, if you can recall.
All right.
And I debunked it when they were saying, oh, this thing is a genocide against Christians. I said, no, just watch and see. When there were no Christians to take, who are they going after again? The Muslims.
Right.
They're all fellow Muslims. So I said, now you see what I'm talking about. Anybody. These guys are not there. It's not a religious thing. These people are just walking under that religious canopy. But it's not a religious thing at all.
But that's also exposing the gaps that we have in the security
That's
system.
the point I'm talking about now. I'm coming there. So the point here I'm talking about is we as a people. We are not taking ourselves serious. I want to ask a question here. I'm asking our audience, what is the value of human life in Nigeria? What is the value? If I asked you what is the value of that man along the streets, really and truly, the person will tell you no value. So in other words, we have no value for human beings in this country. Once we can place a value on a human being, we then know we should begin to sit up.
All right. Okay, so now that we've been able to explore the fact that we have some gaps, right? Now, these gaps,
plenty gaps.
Now, these gaps, which aspects, where are they coming from, really? Where are the gaps in?
Now, I'll tell you, the first gap is the issue of trust. Like you rightly said, I see something, I want to say something. Who do I say that something to? Now, if I go to report at any of the security agencies, and the easiest one that's available to the citizenry is the police.
All right.
What is the guarantee that this police, who I beat over there, will not in any way finger me out to say, this is the man that came to lodge that complaint or the reports?
We have this kind of situations, right?
No, we have. People have talked about it. So my own advice, I tell people, when you go to the police station, do not divulge such information at the counter. Ask to see the divisional police officer, the DPO, if it's a divisional police headquarters. If you are the area command, ask to see the area commander. Such high officers at the division, who happens to be a chief superintendent of police at the division, will not in any way jeopardize his career.
Okay.
Because he knows he has a career at stake. Unlike a rank and file, who has nothing at stake. So that to me is the most important thing. Or you can go to any military base.
Right.
Yes. And demand to see the commander. You don't need an appointment. Once they see you and you're bold, they say, I have some information to share with the commander. They only profile you and it's okay, you can go ahead. Now, the question here is that usually, when writing a statement at the police station, they ask you to put your name, your address, and everything. It's the issue of the address that comes here, which you now know you can be traced, or your phone number. And I tell people, when you go to the station, please do not divulge that information. Just put your name. Don't put your address, don't put your phone number.
Okay, so it's better that way.
It's better that way.
All right,
so
then.
you cannot come. However, the reason why this information are gathered is just in case it's a false information. Because sometimes some people can go down there to throw in some spanners into the wheel, trying to throw in some element of confusion into the true element of what is being investigated.
All right, just hold
to
on
allow the police go on a wild goose chase.
Right, just hold on 1 second. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning, aftermath of the Orire Kidnaps and Rescue, reflections on Nigeria's insecurity crisis and the way forward. Dr. Chuks Maha, a security consultant and analyst, is joining me on the program this morning, and he's taking us to the classroom of what we really need to do. Getting back to the roads, still pretty quiet at the moment. If you're coming in from the inner part of Ikorodu, linking up with Mile 12, still looks relatively good. And of course, we just got a report from the Anthony end. There's a breakdown of a Loma compactor truck having rear tire problem. It's on the main carriageway at Independence Tunnel inwards Maryland. All right, so take note of that. A tow truck has been contacted for immediate evacuation. We have traffic managers on ground trying to manage that and ensure that you still have it pretty good. From the Olowu end, we now have, of course, we're having it pretty good as well. If you're sending Obalende Bridge inwards Johnny Osborne intersection by Simpson Bridge, heading towards emergency point up to Iliburi, down to Adeniji Adele by Carter Bridge exit, linking up with the 3rd Milan Bridge, all looking pretty good inwards Yanowo. No major issues there. Good vehicular movement as well from Adekunle intersection on the 3rd Milan Bridge inwards Johnny Adeniji Adele. That's on the return journey down to Suraj Junction. All looking pretty good you do not have any major issues driving through that corridor. By the way, if you want to join the conversation this morning, feel free to do so. And that's on 080-99-120-777. Of course, it's good news that we have the rescue of the children from Orire local government area in Oyo State. But we're asking, what's the next thing? What's the way forward in terms of averting these heightened levels of kidnapping? Dr. Chuks Maha, let's continue the conversation. So we've been able to identify some gaps. Now, these gaps that we're seeing within the security system, it's not just personnel, right?
Yeah, it's not just
personnel is one.
Because
they say we don't have enough personnel for all our security operatives, from the police to the military,
DSS, and all that.
DSS, right?
Yeah, but before I go in down the victim,
Okay.
the victims have been released. That is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's another problem: the trauma.
Okay.
They need to be debriefed. They need to go for therapy, psychological therapy. All of them, especially the children, need to take some time. So the Oyo State government should make out time. They shouldn't be sent home now. They should be kept in a hotel, pampered a little bit, because it's our responsibility. Well fed, they're going to undergo medical tests to make sure there are no ailments or anything of that strange things, called the kind of water they may have been drinking, or food, or the environment they have been in all the way. Until they've been passed and certified okay, then they're going for debriefing lectures.
Okay.
From the teachers to the students, where they'll be told that, look, what you've gone through, yes, it's traumatic. However, it could have been worse. We thank God. If not, it's going to haunt them all the days of their lives. And they could be used against government, because you say, why was I there for 56 days? I did nothing. So they need to know that it wasn't easy. We could storm the place and we get some of you out, but others might lose their lives.
Definitely.
So, the briefing has to be done in such a way systematically by somebody who is mature, who understands, who is not just doing it because I'm told to do so. No, you put yourself in that person's position to carry them along so they understand why this had taken so long, and they should be grateful to God that they are alive.
All right.
And they be fully integrated back into the community. However, should they go back to their homes where they were?
Big question.
Good. And re-kidnapped again? So in other words, security must be put down everywhere.
All right.
Now, the question is, if the government cannot build a police station, not in that particular locality, all localities need there, they should have police posts, and they must have adequate communication.
In those police posts?
In all these police posts, all linked up to a division headquarters, and patrols should be going all around the state, especially the interland areas where security seems to be porous.
Right.
I use the word seem to be porous.
So, shortage of personnel is still a major issue, right? For security to really be adequate.
Yes, it is.
What do we need to do in that regard?
Yes, Mr. President had asked the Nigerian police to do a quick recruitment of 10,000, but 10,000 is not enough. We should be looking at least a minimum of probably 300,000, if not more than. Because United Nations recommendation is one policeman to a maximum of 200 persons sitting room. So if we say the population of Nigeria is 250 million, just do the maths.
All right.
We're looking at a minimum of slightly over maybe 1.2 million policemen. And the Nigerian police force is about 370 something, of which many of them are due for retirement.
All right.
Some are physically challenged because over time they had incurred one form of injury or so or the other. And they left, how many of them are there? So if you remove the senior officers there that will not go out on everyday beat patrol, how many are left?
Quite unfortunate. All right, then we have some messages coming in. By the way, you can join the conversation. I have Dr. Chuks Maha with me in the studios this morning, security consultant, and we're looking at the aftermath of the Orire abductions and the rescue, reflections on how we can tackle insecurity in Nigeria. Message here says, good morning. Every time there is a kidnapping, we hear about rescue operations. Why do we hardly hear about what government is doing to stop these kidnappings before they happen? Sunday is sending this one in. Sunday, thank you so much. I think
That's a lovely question.
Okay, but of course, government has been doing a lot, really.
Doing what?
A lot.
How?
In that regard too.
How?
Okay. Another message here says, "Good morning, Lagos Traffic Radio. Happy weekend. Please ask your guest why kidnappers still seem to operate freely despite all the security agencies we have,
Beautiful.
be from Ogba? I need you to
I love that question.
so respond to it.
Yeah, the truth is, like I said earlier when I was talking about it, I spoke about the ease of this operation, the business itself, and the thrive. The thrive is what he's referring to. Why is it still thriving till now? It's not far-fetched. First and foremost, the security agencies have their hands and legs tied.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. I dare say it, and I'm proud to say it. I'm proud to be a Nigerian. The Nigerian Security Agency, whichever one it is, starting from the police, the DSS, the DIA, NIA, the Army, Navy, Air Force, including the paramilitary ones, are the best you have in Africa.
Okay.
I say it. They're the best. However, they need to be motivated. Motivation is not necessarily money. And I want us to be clear. You motivate them with welfare. Once you provide the welfare and the instruction, the order, what we call the ROE, telling them, say, look, this is what we expect of you to do. Rules of engagement, terms of reference.
Right.
They'll begin to operate. You saw what he said. You said earlier at the beginning of the program, the president met with the security chiefs. Barely 24 hours after he met with them, what happened?
There was a release of the kids.
Beautiful. He's been talking security before, but his body language has not been matching with his vocal language. The moment the body language matches with what he's saying vocally, because when you communicate, Victor, which you are a communicator,
Right.
your vocals should match with your body language as your body
Definitely.
speaks. Yes.
Definitely.
So once that happens, people take you serious. So boy, Yawa don't gaso. The man is serious.
Right.
And I have to operate. So once that is given, I don't need to wait. Once I get a distress call, kidnap as a DPU,
Right.
because I know my IG has been instructed by the president that kidnapping should no longer take place.
So let's look at the reality on ground, Dr. Chuks Maha. Even though you say that ransom is not something that is encouraged, but from feelers that we're getting, it appears ransom is a big deal out there in all circles. It doesn't matter, be it state government, be it local government, be it federal government. Some observers have said these kidnappings keep thriving because all these administrations are somehow either openly or behind the scene involved in ransom.
Thank you. You said it.
So talk to me. Is that correct?
Well, to a very large extent. Some of us have said some of these things could be linked to podcast sponsorship, and but there's no clear evidence to prove that, apart from the few which has been exposed. One guy in Katsina, where money was found in his house, and it was traced to ransom money, and he was a politician that came from, which was being paid. So, but like you rightly say, all who are Christians, for every 12 there's a Judas. So
Okay.
it's not to say that all politicians are saints. Nope, they're far from it. They're all Nigerians. So some of them might be tainted. I use the word some, not all. Some might be tainted with some, tendencies which some persons might seemingly say are criminal.
All right, then let's see if we can take some reaction. 080-99-120-777. What do you think we can do really to really stop the menace of kidnappings and abductions in our country as it is today, even as we are rejoicing over the release of these Orire children from Oyo State? We still have the ones from Borno and other parts of the country. Some are still very much under the den of the kidnappers. What do you think we can do jointly to also make that happen? All right, 080-99-120-777. Message here says, Dr. Chuks, is our intelligence gathering... it says, Dr. Chuks, is our intelligence gathering is... Okay, it says our intelligence gathering is failing, or if information... Okay, I think what this person is trying to say, is it that our intelligence gathering is failing, or our information is not in good supply, acted upon on time? No. This is Kingsley sending this one. Kingsley.
Yeah, Kingsley. What you said, first and foremost, intelligence gathering is good because the officers on ground for whichever agency it is, don't forget we have so many agencies that gather information, both from the Navy, the Air Force, the Army. The Army is more notorious. We talk about the DMI and all that, the police and all that. Information is being gathered. Even the what's this one that's next to you here? National Civil Defense.
Civil Defense, right.
They all gather information. But the question here now, this information being gathered, to what use is this information put into?
Right.
That is the question I think Kingsley is asking.
So they do not share information amongst themselves as agencies?
That is one. They hardly share information amongst themselves. That synergy is only there at the top. but at the bottom it's not there. Where they meet, the service chiefs, they all shake hands, they drink tea, have coffee together, go to the mess, yes. But below them, the signage is not there. So the question is, how can you? But when these informations are all collated in the office of the NSC, they all come together.
So the big question here is, Dr. Chuks, is where does intelligence gathering lie before these incidents take place?
Now,
I mean, the Orire kidnappings happened on May 15th. Are you saying that people had no inkling that these men were going to run to town and do this or carry out this dastardly act?
You'll be surprised. I'll give you a nice one. The last incident that happened in Benue State, when Mr. President had to travel down to Benue, and everybody castigated him that he did not show much sympathy to what happened in Benue State. Little did he know that the security agency informed the governor ahead of time about what was going to happen. But what did he do? You see, these things are there. Some governors do not want information coming to them.
Why do you say that?
Yes, I'm telling you. Some governors just only think politically. They don't want to enter security.
Yeah, but the governors have said security is beyond their control.
Now, if you say security is beyond your control and you cannot run your state, you are free to bow out. There's no law that says you must stay there till the end of 4 years.
You mean
you can resign, yes. It's only in this country.
But up to now, when the state, the state policing bill is being passed,
state policing bill cannot solve the problem of insecurity in Nigeria.
You mean it?
Yes, I can tell you for free.
All right. Yeah. More reactions coming in. 080.
I tell you one thing, that one of the first legs to put kidnapping to a halt in Nigeria is the full acceptance and legislation for men to carry firearms. Citizens, private citizens.
You mean
to
it?
carry firearms, yes.
Okay, then
I'll tell you why.
We'll get to that. Just a second. This one says, sir, do you think state police will help reduce kidnapping, or would it create another problem? Mr. Ladikpo is sending this one in. Thank you so much, Mr. Ladikpo.
Yeah. From my own personal opinion, I want to use personal opinion.
All right.
Nigeria, I keep on saying, is not yet ripe for state police. What we should do at every state level is to create an agency, just like how we have here in Lagos, the RRS, to augment the police. If you now start a state police, already federal government has not even fully implemented the 70,000 minimum wage. On paper, yes. How many people are getting it? Not to talk of states. How many states can implement the minimum wage? Oh,
yeah,
Victor,
but
hold on, Victor.
Most states are paying that.
I'm coming somewhere, Victor.
Yeah, most states are paying that already.
Some states are still owing salaries. So.
Most states are paying 70,000.
If you cannot currently take care of your present civil service,
right,
paying their salaries or minimum wage, which the present minimum wage is no longer realistic again. I hope you know that.
Right.
Good. How much more set up a security agency you want to start paying your state police? Because you cannot pay your state police pittance.
Definitely.
Because if you pay them pittance, they are going to become a bigger menace than what we've been arguing and talking about the federal police. The roadblocks, checkpoints, or not checkpoints again, they'll be having chop points.
All right. Okay then. 08099120777. We're talking security this morning, and of course we're so glad that the students of Orire local government area in Oyo State have been released. But we're saying, what next to avert these coordinated levels of kidnappings that we're seeing in some parts of the country? What's your own thought as it relates to that? You can share that with us. Dr. Chuks Maha is taking us on this excursion. Feel free to also join the conversation. And that's on 08099120777, 09153877127. All right, Dr. Chuks Maha, sophisticated intelligence gathering is needed, right?
Yes.
How well are we really ready to make use of these gatherings of information, intelligence that are being gathered?
Let me help you out. You're not on the streets, you're in the studio. You do not know what's happening outside.
Definitely.
Who are those who see what's happening outside? The Akara woman selling Akara.
Right.
The bonds, the vendor, right? Children playing football, right?
Right.
Those are the major persons who see what happens outside because they're on the roads. If those people are not schooled in security consciousness and security business, how do you think information can get to the security agencies? And that's why I say this must start by being taught in schools.
Okay.
Where children, when I laugh when people say, oh, the American police, the cops there are the best in the world, followed by the British police, and this and that, and Nigerian police are useless. And I ask the question, well, I thank God I'm well-traveled. I've lived abroad.
All right.
Now the question is that when you see children playing on the streets in the States, which they hardly do except in the parks. While they are playing, they are conscious of their environment. A car drives past while playing soccer. They don't call it football, they call it soccer. They look. And you ask any of the children there, did you see a car pass? You ask you which car. A private car or saloon, a sedan, what you call a sedan, or a cab, the yellow and black cab. And they can even tell the occupants inside the car. They can tell whether it's white or black. And they can even tell the kind of way the person was dressed. Why? Because they have taken cognizance of their environment.
So we must teach security consciousness in schools.
In schools, from the nursery school.
All right.
So when you become apt with security consciousness, nothing can take you by surprise.
Okay.
Because you take note of your neighborhood. Those cars that lurk around, unusual cars that park around, and things like that. And everybody must partake in it. The business of security is not just anybody's business. It's everybody's business.
All right. Messenger says, good morning, Lagosians. Please, sir, what practical steps can ordinary Nigerians take to reduce their chances of becoming kidnapped victims? Thanks. Maruf from Abulegba. So let's get to that, because I know you were trying to give some tips earlier on.
Yes.
What did it take for us not to become victims, right?
Yes.
So what should the ordinary citizen do?
Well, first and foremost, when walking along the road, walk smartly. Walk against the flow of traffic. Don't walk along with the flow of traffic so you can see and nothing takes you by surprise. Nobody can hit you from behind.
Okay.
Don't walk too close to the road. Any car that begins to slow down to where you are, either run fast or stop and go back, because it can just stop and open the doors and throw you in. Be mindful of the kind of vehicles you enter.
Okay.
Any vehicle that is not a commercial vehicle, do not enter. And even commercial vehicles, be mindful of where you sit. Don't allow yourself to be boxed inside the vehicle. Don't slip off inside the vehicle. And always let people know your location, where you're going off to. You can be talking to an imaginary person inside on your phone. Your phone might not be on, but be talking to an imaginary person till you get it. So, boy, now, wow, I did inside so and so vehicle. There are 8 people inside the vehicle. These are that. Of course, they are taking that back. They don't say them.
All right.
Or begin to describe yourself as something. Do not discuss finance inside a commercial vehicle.
Okay.
And of course, you need to be schooled. Survival skills. Assuming you're thrown into the boot of the car, do not panic. But when you panic, you begin to exhaust yourself and you begin to take in more oxygen. Relax and all that. Study the boot. Every car from 2000 above has a button in the boot to be able to open the boot.
You mean it?
Yes, every car. Yes. So if you know what to do, if you have your phone with you, put it on, you'll see a button there inside the car. You press it and the boot opens. Or you can break the backlight there and put your hand out and begin to wave. And the vehicle drive behind will see somebody's hand inside the backlight, the tail light. Sees it being broken off, and know that there's something I missed, and they'll pass information on. Or if you have your phone with you inside the boot, you can send a text message or a phone call out to somebody. I'm in the car, the boot of the car.
All right.
Yeah.
So do we have an emergency line in the country that can help us out?
Yes. Okay, yeah. And these are part of the things. If you're security conscious, and that's why I spoke about the National Orientation Agency, which to me has failed. We don't hear anything they're doing. I wonder why they're collecting salaries. These are the kind of things they should come with jingles. They should come using all the radio stations and television stations, just like how they could come down here, of course, pay for the service. They have the money anyway.
Right.
And come and tell us, okay, this is the emergency number you can use. Lagos State is beautiful. We have 112, we have 767.
Right.
Now, I come and say, okay, in these states, these are the emergency numbers. Then again, we have these telecom providers. Why can't we make the best use of them?
All right.
And they give us telephone lines they can give that are toll free. So if you have an MTN network, you just call that number, they hook you up with the nearest emergency station there, whichever state you are in, assuming you're traveling. So if MTN, you can say MTN is 112, or whatever I say, 123, Glo can come out and say it's 679 or whatever it is. So whichever network you have, and it's toll free. And you tell them the case of which you're facing, your distress call, and they link you up.
Okay. All right. So there's a lot of lesson that can be learned from at least this particular one, which has ended up in a very, very good episode in the release of these children. Although, sadly, one of them died during that episode. But we're so happy that all the children, that the last release that we got, that all the children were freed. At least the only one that we heard that lost his life was one of the teachers was beheaded at the beginning of that particular incident.
Whether the vice principal or
right.
vice head.
So, but that's one that ended up on a good note. But we're saying for this not to reoccur, Dr. Chuks Maha, if you were to sit with Mr. President this morning, for us to end the spate of kidnappings in Nigeria, what would be the recipe?
First and foremost, I'll ask Mr. President to call all the service chiefs, all the governors, and invite me there in and address all of them together. The state of insecurity, the problem is not at the president. I don't envy him. He's the father of all, like I said. He's a commander-in-chief. But we all need to be on the same page, of which after that, he tells all the governors to go and replicate what he has spoken to them back in their various states. I'll give you this nice one. First and foremost, they're getting ready for 2027. Every governor should be ready to buy at least 36 vehicles now. Vehicles, brand new vehicles for policing. Not to give to the police itself, but to be shared among the security agencies, which they use as a joint task force to comb the localities within.
So that's
minimum
needed.
of 36, if not more than, if possibly maybe 72.
In each state?
In each state. This is apart from the federal government intervention. We're talking for the states. Now, having said this one now, we talk of fueling. Fueling should be given free. Of course, you'll be asked to fill coupons. Fuel should not be dispersed into the jerry can for any of these vehicles, because there's a tendency they might go and resell them or put them into their private usage.
Right.
They should only report in direct into these vehicles that will be used for security surveillance. Each state government should buy at least a minimum of 3 helicopters. 3 helicopters, which they can all easily afford.
For surveillance?
Yes. If you're talking about state security, state police, you should be ready for it now. Buy 3 helicopters, each state.
Okay.
And they'll be branded on it. You'll see it. Ogun State, Delta State, Anambra State, Katsina State, written on it. Security. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Right.
You carry code numbers on it. Then we talk of drones, investment in drones, like Enugu State has so much drones now. Because we talk of technology.
Right.
And with these drones, you're going to infuse AI into it. With all this, so you're getting images directly coming up. You have a big distress center, communication center, command center.
So all this should be put in perspective.
Oh, yes. We're talking of how to stop it now.
Right.
Good. Having said this one, arms and ammunition, because we found out these guys have excess arms and ammunition.
Right.
You can't send policemen down to go and combat kidnap cases with only 6 rounds in their magazine.
Okay.
So they must be fully armed. They must wear ballistic helmets and vests when going, or if possible, a complete armored suit. So irrespective of whatever firing that goes on, there is a high likelihood they are protected. So these are the things. So we need to have that. And more importantly, our security agents should have a joint task force where they'll be trained in guerrilla warfare.
All right, because
it's not just ordinary.
Exactly. It appears these guys are going for soft targets now.
Yes.
And the soft targets are you and I.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that for now because of time constraints. Dr. Chuks Maha, it's always a thing of joy to have you in the studios. So let me say a very big thank you to you for making it through this morning.
It's my pleasure, Victor.
Okay, then. So we'll be able to reflect a bit on the aftermath of the Orire kidnappings and the rescue, reflections on Nigeria's insecurity crisis, and the way forward. Dr. Chuks Maha, who is a security consultant and analyst, has been able to take us on this excursion. We have to go. Akan Hussein has produced the program. I say a big thank you to our social media team. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a great day. Bye.